Okay, so I just want to share with you this belief shifting framework that I use to it's kind of the backbone of most of the content that I use. I don't always follow it slavishly. However, I think it's because I've internalized it so much that it's kind of in there anyway for me. But anyway, I've broken it down step by step, and I want to explain it to you in the context of talking about the features of your program, or as I'm calling them, the mechanisms, because there's a lot of people who believe that you shouldn't spend too much time talking about the features of your programs or your products, and should just focus on the outcomes. And it's not true. People want to know about your how. So I'm going to show you how you can weave it in to a piece of content in a way that is going to help move your clients closer towards making a decision to work with you. And by doing this, you're also going to repel people who aren't a good fit, which is fine. Like, we want to be doing that as well. Okay, so this is kind of the framework as an overview. So we start with a seed idea, then open it with a hook that, and in there you want to include a limiting or a false belief. And I'm going to explain what I mean by all these terms in a sec. You want to then empathize with their experience because there's a reason that they believe this. Then you're going to share a story to change their mind. So generally, what we would do is either share a client experience or something about your experience or something about your mechanism or your feature. So you can take this, and there's like different paths you can go down it. With the example that I'm going to show with you, I've done a little bit of a blend of client experience and mechanism. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that with this framework, you can end up with like multiple ways of talking about the same thing from all the different angles that is necessary to talk about when helping people make a decision to work with you. And then you always want some sort of call to action at the bottom of your content. Okay, so the seed idea. So we want to start with the seed idea. So the example that I've done here is this. Now, seed ideas, just to go back a step, is that what you need to be doing, if you're not doing this already, is collecting language from your audience. I've got something I call my messaging matrix. Okay, so it looks something like this. And I've got all this, you can see on the left, voice of client, all the themes. So these are all the different ways that people have talked about the issues that they have with writing copy, writing content. And so I've broken it down into these themes. So these are bits of language about messaging, about writing sales copy, about writing offers. And then I've broken those down into Hell Island and Heaven Island, which is like the two, which is basically pain points, outcomes. And so this is what I mean for a seed idea, is I can take something that somebody's read and be like, right, this is a problem that somebody's got at the moment, or an outcome that they want to achieve. And that's going to be the start of my, it's going to give me the idea for what I'm going to be writing about. So this process helps you to never run out of ideas again. Okay, so what I've done for this example is I've taken this seed idea. This is a testimonial for a life coach, okay? And so this is what one of her clients said. Said, over the course of just a few months, I've found the confidence to set up my own consultancy, and I'm working on my own terms and no longer compromising my needs and those of my family. So we want to start with a hook, okay? So assuming this is like an ideal client and you want more of this type of client, the hook that you're starting with is talking in the same terms as what this person wanted. So you want to say something about that you want to start a business, the current job is using up all of their time and energy, personal health suffering, not enough time with family. So I've just put these in as notes. Obviously, you would write this out. But if you start with that hook, you're going to then get the attention of people who are in a similar situation to the before state of this particular client. Now, then you need to think about what's the false or limiting belief that somebody who wants to start a business currently has. And again, you don't have to make this up. You can get this from your clients and from your audience, and you should be. If you're listening to what people are saying and if you're paying attention, you're going to just know this. And so it should be really quite easy to write. So I've made this up just kind of as an example, but a false belief that somebody who wants to start a business might have is that there's no time or energy left. They're not confident that they can make it work. that by doing it, it might make everything worse or not better. Okay, so that's a belief they've got. It's a limiting belief. It's a false belief in the sense that that you know that if they do things a certain way and work with you, that this isn't going to be the case. However, this belief has come from somewhere. So that's why we empathize with their experience, right? And so you want to think about, what have they tried before? You know, maybe they did launch something and they got burnt out because it was too much to juggle. Or maybe they've been told by family or friends that it's a silly dream. So again, knowing your audience is vital here. And having it in the messaging matrix, you'll have all these stories and these pieces that you can use. Okay, so you've called them in, you're speaking directly to them, you show that you understand what they believe at the moment, and you're empathizing with that experience. So straight away, they're going to feel like they can trust you because you seem to really know them extremely well. So now we need to change their mind. So you want to share some sort of story to change their mind. So this going up here, this is where it's like, okay, is there a client experience I can flesh out to show that what they believe is not right? Is there something that, you know, I've done in my background or in my experience? Or can we talk about a mechanism or a feature? So I thought, so for this example, we're going to look at the features. And so the way that we could do this is a kind of a blend in this instance of sharing a client success story. So we say, over the course of just a few months, one of my clients found the confidence to set up her own consultancy. Now, most people think this plus this plus this is enough. It's like, I'm promising you the outcome and I've shown that I've got that outcome for someone else. However, that's probably not enough. They want to know how it is that you got that result for that client. And so that's where you start explaining your process. Share what it was that you did with this client to get that result. Be specific. And by doing that, you're grounding it in a tangible example and a real experience of somebody who's worked with you. And now this is the point where you might feel a bit of, what's the word? Friction, like that you kind of don't want to do it because you might feel like you're giving away too much of your process, that people can just go off and do it themselves. Or you might think that it's too specific and it's going to put off people who aren't exactly like this client. And what I would say to those false beliefs is that if somebody's just going to read your process and go off and do it themselves, and they're probably not, well, they're not in a position right now to want to work with you anyway. So whether or not you give them this information or they find it somewhere else is kind of irrelevant. However, there are going to be people in your audience who are ready to work with you. And so by sharing this information with them, you're helping them make an informed decision to put their hand up. And then if it is going to repel some people, so your process isn't going to work for everybody. The way you work isn't going to be a good fit for everybody. So you don't want people coming in blindly, not knowing what you do, and then partway through the process going, oh, I didn't know you did whatever it is that you do, and they're not comfortable with it for some reason, or it's not a good fit for them. So by making this clear, people are making an informed decision, and they're coming in knowing that they want to work with you, knowing what your process is, being super clear on all the stuff that's really important, and they're the type of people that you want as your clients, right? And then the final bit, the easy bit, call to action. So again, depending what you're doing, whether you're launching something, so it could be to, obviously to a sales page, it could be about starting conversations, booking a call, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever the kind of reason for this piece of content. But that's it. That's kind of the framework. So it's fairly straightforward as a framework. But as you can see, you need to really fill in the gaps based on what you know about your audience and sharing your expertise. So I hope this helps you with this idea around talking about your features and how you can link that to connect with your clients or potential clients.